being selected for the PGF All-American game would be a huge honor. I just remember being younger and watching that game on the TV and seeing just like girls from all over the country committed to all different schools and just coming together and playing a super high-level softball game. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And so to think that I could possibly be playing in that game one day would be like a dream come true. It would be really cool.
So I love this, the PGF Player Series podcast, and we're going to dive deep. You guys are going to help me in the All-American game, the PGF All-American game, to be played on August 31st, to be broadcast on ESPNU. And after what we went through, so much fun. By the way, this is Amanda Freed, and you know who she is, softball legend. This is Brentt Eads, and you know who he is, softball legend as far as creating content, extrainningssoftball.com. His insights, his stories are epic. And all I do is just get to navigate the ship because these are the brains behind the operation. I'll let you start with that in mind. All we went through last year, right, with the sport, and in the world it's one thing, but in the sport that was impacted another. How cool has it been? I know you've been outside in a lot of heat, seeing events already this summer. How cool is it that we have this All-American game, that we have these athletes gathered, that everything is now safe, and the sport basically is up and running, and maybe even better after going through what they went through?
Well, the College World Series rankings show that sport's better, bigger than ever. I think there's an energy that's renewed. Kids are back playing, coaches are back, and it's exciting. It's great to be out on the fields and see everything. In some ways, it's like we didn't miss. In some ways, it seems like we haven't had softball at the youth and club level for about 5-10 years, but it's better than ever. I'm excited, and this game is loaded with talent. I'm excited to see these kids all get together in one field. Since its inception, we've had the luxury, the great opportunity to be the voices of this game, and we've loved doing it. There's been, home runs taken away, home runs sail over the boards. There have been hugs. There have been Olympic legends come back and coach. We've seen it all. If you would have had an opportunity, and you did a lot of special things, but how cool is this for you looking back? I mean, looking back as a color analyst on it, but the softball player in you, how lucky are these athletes?
You look at the lineup and the athletes that are in this game every year, and that would be so special to be able to end your amateur career, your high school career on the field with these athletes. Some of them are best friends who never really played together on the same team. Most of them have played against each other for the previous 4 years. Looking forward to playing each other at the collegiate level also. I just feel like this is such a celebration of talent and hard work for these athletes, and just the way that PGF puts it on, and it's a celebration to me. That's the word really that comes to mind, is we're celebrating these athletes, their hard work. Now more than ever, the time, effort that they've put into just staying at the top of their game and getting to this point, and just showcasing their talent on this stage, I just think is so fun. I would have jumped at the opportunity to have had something like this back when I was playing.
Let's talk about some of these names, and some we'll break down. We'll make sure every name gets mentioned, certainly. That's what makes it fun, and that's why we have these guys here. Grace Keene is a corner infielder. She's from Santa Clarita, California, and she's a Tennessee commit. I'm going to put you on the spot to tell us about Grace.
She's a 6-foot corner infielder and just great skills, great defensive skills. And the story here is, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit. We're going to go McKenna Gibson. They're teammates, they're friends, and they both committed on the same phone call to the Vols. So they got a 2-for-1 special that night. But they're both 6 feet, athletic, can play the corner. Tennessee and the Weeklies are going to have great infielders for a long time.
Yeah, it's exciting. As we take a look down at these All-Americans, Brianna Hayward, a corner infielder, Texas Tech commit out of Arizona. Bias. I'm an Arizona guy in part, California guy too. Maddie Moore is a third baseman from Loomis, California. That's a Clemson commit, and you can see that commitment. Lacey Campbell, catcher, first baseman from Vallejo, California, Oregon State. Hannah Slyke, a catcher, is out of Chula Vista, San Diego area, Boston College commit. And Hannah gives way to Sophia Nugent on that roster. Oklahoma, Seal Beach. Who's Sophia as a player?
Oh my goodness. Sophia is one of those athletes. Well, if you look at Oklahoma's roster this last season, you think, oh, Sophia will fit right in on that. Big bomb type of hitter, catcher. She's very versatile. Her game has evolved tremendously over the last handful of years as she's gone through high school, but I just think that she's such a tremendous talent who will just jump into that Oklahoma program and fit in nicely.
Arkansas is represented, so is Stanford as we look on down the list. Washington brings from Phoenix, Arizona, Riley Holtorf in these great All-Americans. And then there's Taylor Stevens, an infielder. You're a UCLA alum. She is a Linwood, California native. Taylor Stevens, an All-American.
And Taylor's a good kid. She's just a good athlete. I used to give her pitching lessons way back when she was, I think, middle school. And you could just tell that she had that drive and passion for the sport. She was a real athlete. She was a great pitcher, but she was an even better all-around balanced ball player. I'm excited that the Bruins are going to have her. She's going to be able to fill a number of different roles. And just a good all-around athlete, somebody you want on your team.
And this is cool. Taylor joins us now. Taylor, congratulations on being a PGF All-American. It's a game Amanda and I have been humbled to be a part of since it started on the national broadcast. For you, when you found out it was to be part of your journey, you were going to get a chance to play with the best players in the country, what were your instant responses?
I was honestly shocked and just so thankful to be able to have received that type of news. It was a surreal feeling, being a softball player, that's a dream to be an All-American. So when I got that news, I was just so blessed and thankful to have been able to accomplish this, to be able to have accomplished this in this year that we've gone through.
Yeah.
All the adversity that everyone was went through, not just the seniors, not just the 2021 class, but every class. We all experienced it. So just being able to overcome that obstacle and end up on top is amazing. And I couldn't be any more thankful.
God, when you think back over this year, it was just a challenge for everybody and filled with so much instability. And I'm sure there were times where you thought, will I get my senior year? Will I have next summer? There were times we just never knew. How did you keep a positive attitude throughout all of this, knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel? I know at some point we're going to come out better on the other side. Were there strategies that you did throughout the last year that kind of helped you stay on top of your game and just keep that positive attitude?
Honestly, softball has always been my safe place. So training at my sport and making my game better is honestly always what I've been accustomed to doing. And I need that extra lift or positive thinking. So yeah, just knowing that, okay, I'm going to continue training at my sport and no, I don't know what outcome I'm going to get with my high school season, my college season, my travel ball season. But at least I know that I'm putting in the work that I need to put in to stay sharp in my mechanics, to stay sharp in my skills. And yeah, just having a great support system. My family, they always encouraged me. They told me, you're going to be able to get what you want. You're going to be able to play. You're going to get your senior year. Stay positive. So just being able to hear that and be surrounded by positive reassurance was incredible. And it was needed after this year.
Right. And I had a small part in your journey when you were a pitcher way back when. We talked a little bit about that, but you have such a cool family. And you were a very good pitcher, but you were also just always a really great athlete. But when you let go of pitching and you said, I'm just going to play the field, I'm going to hit, did you see your game evolve? Did you kind of feel like you were able to take bigger strides after letting go? Because pitching takes a lot of time and effort. Where was the greatest growth that you saw in your game once you gave pitching up?
Honestly, giving pitching up, I started pitching when I was younger, and it was honestly something that I love to do. But like you said, it takes so much time, so much dedication. And I wasn't just a pitcher. So I pitched, I also hit, I also played defense. So taking away the pitching aspect, having all that more time to dedicate into my hitting, to dedicate into my defensive work. I've seen an immensely huge amount of improvement in my game, which I couldn't be more happy to see. So I can't just say that I've seen it more in just hitting, but I've seen it in everything. My mentality, my mental side of the game has improved because I've been able to just dial in and focus on what I want to achieve and set goals for myself and everything.
What do you hope to take advantage of in UCLA as it pertains to your education? What are you passionate about when you go there and have so many opportunities? One of the best schools in the world as it pertains to opportunity in the classroom. What do you hope to study? Where do you hope to go with that?
I'm hoping to go with communications business route. I've always loved speaking. I love public speaking. So I can see myself being a sports broadcaster or something of that nature, owning a business, running a business, just being that person where I can uplift others, I can encourage others, and people looking up to me. That's always been something that I want, and that's something that I love playing softball for. I love seeing little girls look up to me being a UCLA commit, DMing me on Instagram, asking me what my experience was with travel softball in high school, and just being able to give them that light and that hope that they can one day achieve what they want to achieve if they just put the effort in and if they believe in themselves.
Congratulations. This roster is better because you're on it. We're really excited for the event on July 31st and all you guys getting out there and playing.
Yes.
So Sydney Sanders will be playing in the same conference. She's a commit to go to Arizona State from San Marcos, California. I know you had some thoughts on her.
One of the strongest players in the class. She's just a fierce hitter. She was the Cal High Freshman of the Year. But my favorite story with Sydney is when she was playing, I think it was her freshman year, they're from San Diego, okay? And they're playing in the championship game against Cathedral Catholic, who has a pitcher you may have heard of, Megan Faramo. They're also on the same club team. And Sydney hits a game-winning 3-run home run off of Megan, who was untouchable when she was playing at that level. And so just the thing I love is Sydney can go back. She's the young buck, a freshman, and she's got the senior, All-American, and Megan was everything. But can you imagine going back and saying, how'd that go? I hit a 3-run home run to win the CIF title off of you, Megan. So a little bit of smack talk going on there. But Sydney is strong, and she's going to be a great, the prototypical power hitter that ASU loves.
Yeah, ASU, they hit, right? I mean, that's what they're known for.
They are, yeah. And Trish Ford is a phenomenal pitching coach.
No, I understand that.
But what I'm saying is you forget how strong they are offensively. I mean, we talked about 1 through 9, 10, 15 on their team can hit big bombs.
Taylor Ebbs is an All-American. She's an Oregon native, a Kentucky commit. Paige Dimmler is going to Arizona out of Vista, California. Congratulations. Olivia Silvestri is headed to Cal. San Ramon, California is where she hails from. Seattle earns the commitment of Ty Wilson, Fairfield, California. The Fish, Isabelle Fishman, Cypress, California. JMU, James Madison. Guys, we got a James Madison commit. That's exciting.
The Dukes were the Cinderella story of the College World Series. And what's interesting is Odyssey Alexander, won the hearts, and we know that she got the standing ovation when they came off the field by the Oklahoma fans. But this Fish, you got me calling her name.
No, please. She may or may not approve it later. Go ahead.
Isabelle is that type of player where she does everything. She can pitch, she can hit, she's a versatile athlete. And I just think it's great that JMU comes out to California and gets someone off the USA Athletics. So it's great to see that these teams back east can come out here, and then vice versa, teams in the west can go back east. But she could be Odyssey Alexander Part 2.
That's awesome. We're going to have her in here in just a moment, so let's talk behind her back for one more minute. Her game, her attitude, what appeals to you?
She just has a really great perspective on the game. So she's confident. She's an academic-minded type of an athlete, so she can break the game down really well. But she said a lot of her growth came mentally, which is so important when you go into a program like this. But then we talked about JMU and what they were able to do. And when you go into a program like that, it elevates you, it challenges you, and Isabelle's that type of athlete where when she's challenged, she'll rise to the occasion. So she's willing to do anything they ask of her. And I think that's what JMU was pretty much all about this season. So she's going to be an athlete that is going to fit in well. I'm glad she had an opportunity to see them on that stage and get excited about being a part of that.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit better, and let's do so right now. Congratulations, right? I mean, you and I were just talking about this. The great thing about our sport is that it continues on between graduation and freshman year for the elite with this All-American game. You've got a busy summer, but how excited are you to play on national TV, to play in this game, and to be amongst the best players border to border in North America?
I am beyond excited for this opportunity. I feel especially honored and blessed to be competing with the best athletes across the nation. I have been watching this and going for as long as I can remember, and it's a dream to be out there.
Yeah, we have fun doing it. We have a lot of fun doing it, all kinds of fun.
It's our favorite time of year. Yeah. And I mean, we missed out not seeing it last year. So this, for us, feels like the next level of excitement. So for you, I'm sure it feels the same. You commit and then you just wait out this COVID year, and it felt sometimes like trudging through mud, finding new and unique ways to keep sharp and tone your skills. But now here you are, you made it. You're at a perfect time because you're going to go off to JMU and hopefully things return to a little normalcy. You get to move in August. Tell me what you're most excited about this summer. We talked about the All-American game, but just being able to finish out your high school career with your club team on the biggest stage before you kind of shut the door on that chapter of your life and head out to JMU next year.
I would say the most exciting part for me would be not only playing in this All-American game, obviously, but just competing alongside my teammates. I think with COVID and everything, it's given me such great perspective. I think it's given everybody really great perspective on just how lucky we are to even be on the field. Like, I'm someone who talks to the umpires, like when I'm on the field, especially when I'm playing middle infield, I'm like, there's no place I'd rather be. Like, I could not imagine having another year where we can't play the sport we love. Like, just being able to be out on the field, I feel is just a true blessing.
Well, then you watch the Women's College World Series, obviously, and even more so seeing your team do what they did in front of so many people. I mean, I'm not going to say that they were underdogs. I think that they were highly overlooked, but they've always been a great program. But then you look at what they were able to do, and now you get to go in and join a program like that. Do you get nervous at all? Like, where am I going to fit in? Or does it excite you? Like, I'm going to be a part of probably the most highlighted, elevated program right now in the NCAA, and you're going to be a part of that in the fall.
I am honestly just super excited. We've been knocking on the door for a long time, and I am happy to be part of it. I'm so excited that I'm going to be so included in like a great program. I'm really excited. And
you're going to be pushed.
Yeah.
You're going to be pushed to be made better. Subpar programs that struggle, that's fine. You could probably be the star. You're going to have to work hard to be the star on that team. That's cool to me.
Yeah.
I mean, in that vein, Fish, and may I call you Fish?
Yes, of course.
I just want to make sure that's appropriate. I want to do the right thing. Over the last year, let's say, COVID and all, workouts unique and all, what part of your game has improved the most? And be specific. You know how well she knows the sport. And be technical if you want. What part of your game has improved the most?
Mental.
100%.
100%.
Expound, please.
Like I said, gaining perspective. We all struggle as athletes at times. We all go through these roller coaster of performance, but being able to walk out on the field every time and just think, man, I'm so lucky to be here. I would say pitching for me has become elevated because of the opportunities that I've had so far this fall, and in this summer, I have really stepped up in that position on my team. Really working on strength, but also reading batters, making sure that I'm being a pitcher, reading batters, picking weaknesses and not just throwing what would be my best pitch, but making sure to attack the batter's weaknesses.
So for you, this isn't just a softball road trip to JMU. I mean, Ivies were on your list of choices. You plan on really, pushing yourself in the classroom. You're high GPA, high college admission scores. So expound a little bit, if you don't mind, as we say goodbye to you on what you hope to do academically. You're gonna study psychology, marketing. That matters to you, right?
100%. Education is a huge part of my life. I hope to graduate with my master's in 4 or 5 years. I'll be going in with 2 AA degrees, one in social and behavioral science and one in psychology. So I'll be starting almost as a junior per se, because I have so many general education units already going in. So yeah, I hope to graduate with my master's.
Oh, you're a PGF All-American. May I call you Fish again?
Yes.
All right, Fish. Congratulations.
Thank
Well
you
done.
so much.
Thanks for stopping by here.
Thank you for having me.
Super cool. She wants to work in the circle. Look, she made it clear, but joining her on this day, on July 31st in the circle, Didi Hernandez, San Diego State commit, a pitcher, La Crescenta, California. Nicola Simpson is a Tennessee commit. She's from Washington, from Seattle, Washington. She's an All-American. And Stevie Hansen, Norco. This side of the world right here is an Oregon commit. You have thoughts on Stevie?
I just think when you're a pitcher at on a team like Norco, they're at the CIF championships pretty much every season, surrounded by great athletes.
Yeah, that's like a legend program.
It is. They didn't win it this year, but you expect them to be there year in and year out, and pitching's a big reason why. But she's going to head up to Oregon, a team that has really risen in that pitching circle. They've gotten some really great recruits in. I think she's going to have some great role models to follow, and she's going to be an impactful player year one.
So before we get to the East, what excites you most about the current state of softball? I mean, ratings on TV, you touched on that. I mean, you know, the growth of the sport, the passion. But if I'm going to put your feet to the fire and ask you what excites you most about the current state of softball at the amateur level, what would you tell me?
I would say that these players are getting their due. They're getting national visibility. And we saw the College World Series was on ESPN, you know, all day. You know, I watched 3 games in a row, and boom, boom, boom. But it's also the youth league and the club and in the high school. They're getting national recognition. This isn't just a sport that, it's football and boys basketball, and then you have you used to use the word non-revenue. No, this is a revenue sport now. The rankings are there. The athleticism is there. It's a great sport, and it's tough. I know I've talked to some Major League Baseball scouts. We were talking off air. It's hard for me to watch baseball after watching softball, be a fast-pitch softball, because it's a fast game. And the thing I always love is these girls go 2.5 seconds down the line. You got to be quick in the infield. It's a great TV sport, and these athletes are coming in. But to answer your question directly, I love seeing these kids. These kids will be making impacts as freshmen. We've seen Montana Fouts, and we've seen those type of athletes step in and make a difference. So these kids are better skilled, they're better developed, better coached, and they're college ready. And that to me is exciting, that we're seeing it on a national level, that the sport is strong, not just in Southern California. It's strong in Texas, it's strong in Georgia, it's strong in Midwest. Softball, fast-pitch softball is on the rise, and the rankings are showing that.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Amanda. One more thought before we get to that East roster is the fact that, look, and you spoke of baseball. We see it in baseball. We see it in softball. Those athletes that have been able to play against those that are elite and they're older, or play the best teams, the best players, playing the best tournaments, they arrive on college campuses, or in the case of baseball, in minor league baseball, really ready to compete, more so than a generation back when you played. I mean, you were elite, you were at the highest level, but there is now a proliferation of travel softball, and those athletes arrive on campus, as he said, impact players. It is because of the sport being played at the travel level, right?
Absolutely, and being played very well at the travel level. So if you can get yourself on a team and surround yourself by these best athletes, play the best talent, then you're battle ready, you're battle tested to go on to college. And then it's not that big of an adjustment. Maybe a little endurance. The game is tougher weekend in and weekend out, but the game you're ready for. You've got the smarts for it, you've got the instincts for it, but it is about getting on the right teams that give you the right kind of training. You play with and against those top level athletes, and those are the ones you want as a college coach to recruit and get on your campus, because then it's just, hey, a little management here and there, and just let them do their thing.
Hey, Daron, can I jump into the story? I was at Top Gun Invitational, and if you know your history, you know the name Courtney Blades. It's now Courtney Blades Rogers. She was the 2000, the Honda National Player of the Year. Southern Miss. She had, I don't know how many wins, 50 wins in the circle. I think she's still second all time with 151 wins. She now is the coach of the Texas Dirt Divas, and I'm watching her sit on a bucket calling pitches. So this is a player who had a fantastic career. Now she's giving back to the game, and we see that across the board. Amanda mentioned that she did pitching lessons with some of these Taylor Stevens. I love seeing, we talked about Crystal Bustos has a club team. There is so much integration from the older generation to the younger generation, and the transfer of skills and knowledge and intellect it's making the game that much better. And that's what I love about softball is it's not a selfish sport. People give back, and I'm just excited to see that these people who have been legends in the game are giving back to the next generation, who will give back to the next generation, and so on.
Cool. I love that stuff. No, I love that stuff. No matter the diamond sport, I think that stuff is excellent. All right, let's continue on and get to know some of these athletes as we talk down the roster. A Georgia commit out of Calhoun, Georgia, first baseman and a catcher. That's Lindy Ray Davis. Sarah Stone is going to Kentucky. She's an Indiana native, first baseman, but she can play just about anywhere, and she's followed up more SEC commits, a Florida Gator. Callie Decker out of Lake Mary, Florida. Callie's an outstanding catcher.
Yeah, her name is Vivian, but she goes by Callie. Patrick Lewis, who's her coach, said she's a warrior. She is just one of those leaders. The thing I remember about her is PGF Nationals 2 years ago. She caught all 93 innings. They went to the championship game, and she didn't miss one inning. But also, she was fantastic. I don't think anybody tried to steal on her. So great arm, great bat. She is going to be a strong addition to the Gators.
So, and Callie joins us now. Congratulations, Callie. We're really excited to have you in California on the 31st of July as a PGF All-American. How long have you known about this game, seen this game, aspired to be a part of this game? And then when you heard about it, how excited were you?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much just for the invitation. I'm so excited to compete in it, along with so many other good athletes. I think I heard about like the All-American game, I want to say summer going into my freshman year, because that's when I really started to play like true intense travel ball and playing against the best of the best. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. I thought those people were like famous. I thought these people, the All-American game was just like these famous people playing. And then I was like, oh wait, it's just seniors going into their freshman year of college, like the best of the best competing against each other, which is so cool. And just to like be elected to be on that roster is just so amazing. And I'm so incredibly thankful for that opportunity.
Well, you earned it, and you will be famous. I mean, if you look at the rosters, and I'm sure you know, like you see these games being played out, and you see it as high school seniors, but then the next year you see these athletes in the Women's College World Series and just doing these fantastic things, and that's the path that you're on. And I love trolling your social media. We were talking about it a little bit before, but you've got such a great perspective on the game, and you seem like such a grateful person to be able to be doing what you're doing. Talk to me about what it's been like over the last year, just getting to this point, maybe being able to finish out your high school career on that field with athletes that you've played against, athletes you've played with, and athletes you'll play against in the future, but just your level of gratefulness for being able to be in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. This past year has been so crazy. We've kind of been like put in perspective how thankful like we really need to be to step in between those lines and each and every day. And you don't realize until it's taken away from you how fast it can get taken away from you. And it's definitely shifted my perspective and just kind of playing for the ones who can't. This past high school career, like season, I was so blessed for this special needs kid had came and watched every single one of my high school games. And just seeing him like happy and smiling on the sidelines just made my game every single day. And I knew that every day, every practice, every game that I played in, I was going to do it for him, because I knew that he would kill to do anything just to be on the field. And I still talk to him to this day. I've never met him until this past year, and just to see his smile and just to get to hang out with him is just so incredible. And it's shifted my perspective completely. So even though COVID year was definitely very hard and challenging and tournaments got taken away from us, it's just kind of helped me be so more thankful for everything in front of me, versus like reflecting on the bad, or I just have to keep in mind that there's so much good in front, and we can't just dwell on the past. We have to keep going.
Well, and so we're going to have an opportunity to see you nationally televised in this All-American game, this PGF All-American game. When we see you on the field, what type of an athlete are we going to see? Talk to me about who you are on the field, because sometimes it's very different from who you are off. What can we expect to see from you whether you're behind the plate or at the plate? What can we see from you in those couple of innings or so that we're going to be able to watch?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely love to communicate on the field. That's one of my favorite things to do. I talk a lot on the field. I like to cheer on my teammates. I think their success matters more than my own. I think that's awesome. I'm just excited to be there for my teammates and compete with some of the best girls beside me. I think that's what you're going to see a lot of leadership. That's something that I take pride in on the field and with my teammates.
Cool answer. 2 programs I want you to talk about. First, Georgia Impact. You're wearing the jersey. Tell me about how much you've grown.
Wow. I couldn't even explain to you and put into words how much I've grown over. I've only been a part of this team for 3 years now, and I've learned like an immense amount of things. Like, I couldn't even tell you how much I've learned, but I just am so grateful for all my teammates that have came through this program and that I've gotten to play with. And all the teammates that I have on my team right now, we are just so close. We're a family. We all love each other. We all get along. We all have each other's backs. We all care about each other's success more than our own. And that's like the number one thing to make a great team, I believe, is because we don't have selfish players as Georgia Impact players. We all work hard. We all work together. And I think that's the most important thing as a Georgia Impact player that you have to embrace. And the coaching staff, I would die for them. They're like my family too. They've taught me so much, and I appreciate everything that they've done for me. There's like, I'm like speechless. I just love this organization. It's a great organization. And if I were to tell people to play for any organization or any team, it'd be Patrick Lewis's team.
What an amazing answer. Second, Tim Walton and the Florida Gators.
I'm so excited to finally get there. I love how Tim Walton is very like, I don't know how to explain it, but like very neat and like put together when it comes to certain things. That's one of the reasons why I chose him. He's very front, like straight up with you. And I love that. That's the kind of coaching style that I need. The program there is amazing. The education, the girls, they're all awesome. I'm just so excited. I cannot wait to finally just be there and experience everything in between.
Congratulations. Great travel program, great college program, and you're an All-American. Catchers are cool. I tell everyone catchers are cool. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Katie Samuz is a catcher and a utility player, Humble, Texas commit. Julia Desiderio, Julia, I'm going to get it right there, Hudson, Florida. South Carolina is your destination. Congratulations. You're an All-American. I'm not getting that one wrong, certainly. Grace Nieto, Michigander, atta baby. Michigan stepping into the box. Northwestern commit. Jada Baker going to Duke. She's from Longwood, Florida. Love that Duke program. I really do.
Yeah, James Lamar has that program up and running at the 18, 16, and he's getting there to the 14s. She's going to Duke. She's going to play for Marissa Young. What I like about her, she's a right-handed power hitter. And James said, maybe this is hyperbole, but coaches kind of play favorites, but he said, I think she has the potential to be an all-conference, maybe an all-American player when she's in college. She's that good. So, and if I can throw one other note in here, talking about rankings, as I looked at this list, all but 3 were in the top 100 of the 2021 class that we did.
Right.
But 32 were in the top 50. Now think about that. And of the top 10, because I do ties at some level, 12 were in the top 10. So this is a loaded class overall, and I'm excited to see, we mentioned the Callie Deckers and the Jada Bakers from the East Coast, West Coast. I'm just excited about this game. It's going to be really deep.
Extrainningsoftball.com, by the way. Extrainningsoftball.
I didn't do it for that.
No, it's good. I like
you.
it. Easton Lotus, we'll put you back to work. Infielder. She's from Illinois. This is a Louisville commit.
Louisville commit. The thing I love about her is her parents both played. Mom played softball. Dad played baseball at Illinois, Chicago. So she has the head. She knows the game on an intellectual level. Just like you said, going to Louisville, she's advanced and she's going to play early. I really feel.
We're going to talk in a minute about the National Gatorade Player of the Year. I want to talk first about the Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year. But before I do, I want to talk to the very first National Gatorade Player of the Year. What did it mean to you to receive that honor? Obviously, the best of the best. Somebody has to start. You were the one who started it. You talked about how it was a little bit old-fashioned and compared to how things are modern. But when you found out you were that player, what did it mean?
It was a real honor because I played alongside some of the best athletes at that time on my travel ball team, on my high school team. And so to be given that award was really probably the first or the biggest recognition I had up to that point. To say you're the number one recruit, you're that top, you're that person that we're going to give this to. I was honored completely. And it was a little bit old fashioned, but it meant the same. We didn't have social media, the different kind of ways to, get it out there. But for me personally, for what I put into the sport, and that to me was, it was a huge honor.
Real quick, Fried, I do think social media, again, we've had several interviews on these, couches, and we all counsel each other on these couches.
Don't say it.
It's very easy to find the negative, right? It's very easy to find the negative in anything you talk about. Social media is the same. I think social media has helped this sport so much. I don't even know where to start. Young women owning their brands, telling their stories, college programs, shooting out clips, understanding that you say the speed of the sport in comparison to, let's say, baseball. I think social media has helped. I'm going to be positive on that one.
Well, it's helped on a big picture where the schools are getting information out on their programs and showing you highlights and results. But then the athletes, just being able to connect to them. I think that piece, the young athlete being able to connect a little closer with the Montana Fouts, who is phenomenal at reaching out to young talent and being very vulnerable and authentic about her journey as an elite athlete. I think connecting that piece is just, you can't put a price tag on that. And that to me is the most value you'll get out of social media when it's used the right way. It's such a positive, it has such a positive impact on our sport and in reaching those young athletes who just really want to be connected and know what it's like and how do I get there.
You know, someone once made a really good point I hadn't thought about. The NFL used to be the ugly stepsister to college football. Not that long ago, right? In the 50s, it exploded, maybe 40s, 50s, and really took off in the 60s. And the reason is because they were able to create personalities, right? Johnny U and the Blocks of Granite. And this, you got to know these people. You got to know them, Bart Starr and all these other guys that they became household names. And we're seeing that in softball. We're seeing in the College World Series. What do they have? ESPN has 20-some cameras. But when Donahue makes that diving catch and gets up and gets the double play at second, that's a kind of clip that's going to go viral. And it's going to explode. It's going to make the sport look great. It's going to be athletic. Jada Coleman showing her energy, and I got you to the pitcher. These now are becoming household names, and we don't have a strong pro league at this point. So these college athletes are kind of the people, they're the ones that these younger kids are looking up to. And it's through social media. It's through these, the Instagram and TikTok and all these things. So I think we're ready to see the sport take another step forward because of social media, as you said, Amanda.
And a big part of that is the notoriety of an award like the Gatorade Player of the Year as we get back to the roster. And Annabelle Widra out of Hoover, Alabama, is a Michigan commit, the Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year.
She is a true utility. Sometimes people throw utility, meaning like you're jack of all trades, master of none. No, she masters them all. She is a pitcher. You'll notice on her roster, she's an infielder first. It's because she had 15 home runs, and let me check my notes. 15 home runs, 47 RBIs. She's a 5-time All-State player. And now think about that. I mean, she did it in junior high. These in the South, in some areas, they play in Florida. You can be like an 8-time All-State player because you play young. But she's been dominant. But she has a pitcher. I wanted to look and said went 20-5 with a 1.31 ERA. Just can do everything well. Just a great player and one of these that, where do you put her? Well, I don't know. But you're going to play quickly when you get to college because we're going to fill in wherever we need a gap with your type of talent.
Cordell, Georgia is Megan Bloodworth's hometown. She's an infielder and an Alabama commit. She's an All-American. Brooke Barnard is an infielder from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, down there just north of Miami. She's an Ole Miss commit. Mackenzie Redoute is an outfielder out of Franklin, North Carolina. We've gone back and forth on that name. She is an LSU commit, but if you're going to LSU, we're going to call it Redoute because you're going down there to the world of the Bayou. Dallas Goodnight is an outfielder, Decula, Georgia. She is an Alabama commit. Dallas, all kinds of talented.
Well, I think it was fun watching Alabama in the Women's College World Series this year also. You really feel like you had an inside glimpse of what their program was about. And when I look at Dallas Goodnight and what she has to offer, it reminds me a little of an Alexis Mack. So Alexis had that extra year back. Tons of speed, can do it all at the plate, can slap, bunt, hit away. So has all those tools. And I think she's just going to slip right in place of Alexis Mack, fill that void, help out with that powerful offense that Alabama has. But I love the speed. The speed game is coming back. And when you've got a good, speedy athlete who can steal bases, you have the potential to score a lot of runs.
Boy, there's so much depth at Mizzou. I don't know where Maddie Snyder fits in. Guess what? She's so talented. She's going to wedge her way in and play a very, very key role. They're so young with their pitching, Mizzou, so gifted. Snyder is an All-American. She's a player that stays at home, and that's big. That's big for that organization. Jordan Stevens, an outfielder from Tampa, Florida, is an Alabama commit. And Darian McDonough is an outfielder out of Lincoln, Rhode Island. And she is headed to Boston College. Sam Landry is going to head to the land of Louisiana. She's out of Montbellevue, Texas. Tell us a little bit about Sam.
Sam is a dominant pitcher. pitching staff, I can't wait to see. I don't know how they're going to break it up for this team, 3-3, 2-1. But Sam was one of the top pitchers in Texas this year. Her team won the Class 5A state title. I want to read you her stats. 17-1, 0.40 ERA. She pitched 121 innings, had 252 strikeouts. Power pitcher, just dominates. She can also hit. She batted .330 and had 23 RBIs, but 405 on base percentage. But no, you put her on the mound, she's going to be a franchise type player, and she's going to the Raging Cajuns. So Jerry's got a good one.
And Sam Landry joins us. She is en route from Texas to obviously as a college player make Louisiana home, but family's going to make Louisiana home. Hey Sam, thanks for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. First up, congratulations on being a PGF All-American. Amanda and I have had the good pleasure of calling these games ever since they were born, and it's our thrill. We're humbled by all the athletes. Now you're one of those. So what does it mean to you to be a PGF All-American, to play with the best players in the country?
It's beyond an honor. I would say it was amazing to see that list and see my name on there. And I've worked my whole life for this. So being able to finish out my senior year before I'm headed to Lafayette, being able to play against the top people in the country, it's just an amazing feeling, and something like I will never be able to show like my gratitude towards.
Well, and you're going to be pitching as a part of probably one of the best pitching staffs you'll ever be a part of on that team. So you'll get a good couple of innings. I'm super excited to watch you. Give me a self-scouting report. So when that hitter steps into the box and nobody knows about you or who you are, what can we expect to see out of you?
Like you mean pitch-wise?
Yeah, just who you are as a pitcher. How fast do you throw? Are you a finesse pitcher? Do you like to use your changeup? Are you going to ride it high and in? Like, what's your strategy out there in the circle?
I love using my changeup. I love keeping hitters off balance. I do like get in my head if they start hitting it. I'm not just like they're not whiffing on it. But I love using my changeup. My rise is one of my go-to pitches. So I feel like when my rise is working, it dominates more than all my other pitches. And I do live off my rise. Like I've always said, if my rise isn't working, none of my other pitches are. But yeah, I'll typically be clocked around mid-60s.
That's nice. So you're a hard thrower and you use your changeup. So that's awesome, especially at the college level. And I'm sure you've watched quite a bit of it. I don't think we could tear ourselves away from the screen when softball was finally back on television. But what did you learn from watching these top level programs? Because you're going to be a part of it next year when you go off to Louisiana Lafayette. But what have you learned from maybe watching those top level pitchers do what they did at that big stage? How do you see yourself transitioning into that next level?
The World Series really like opened my eyes that there are so many different kinds of pitchers, and you can see so many different like arm like ways they pitch, so many different speeds, so many different spins. Like it was amazing to see that not everything is set in stone. So I think like watching that really got me ready, like more ready for Lafayette than I was, because I can see like I'm coming in with what I have, and I know my coaches are going to get me even more ready to perform at that World Series one day.
So why Louisiana? Why did Jerry Glasgow and his staff stand out for you to make that choice? I'm sure there were a lot of choices, Samantha. Why Louisiana?
I've loved Coach Glasgow ever since I met him. I met him at what was called an A&M hitting camp that was hosted by one of our travel teams one year. I fell in love with him there because, and I'll never forget this, he came to this camp the day after he had surgery on his throat. And just seeing him there, like I fell in love with his dedication to the sport and how like amazing like he finds all these athletes. And I feel like we've kind of like just had something going since that camp. And when he moved to UL, I fell in love even more because I've wanted to go to school in Louisiana just because that's where a lot of my family's from. So, and I also tore my ACL my freshman year.
Come on.
And Coach Glasgow was one of the coaches that was like, I don't need to wait for you to get back. I know you're going to stay as good as you are. I know you're going to come back even better. And it just meant a lot to me. And everybody's always told me the school that offers when you're hurt is the one that God's given to you.
Well, thank you. Congratulations on being an All-American. Can't wait to see you out here in Southern California with the best players in the country.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And Allison Benning out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota. She's an Oregon commit.
Yeah, we mentioned Stevie Hansen. Here's another one in that class. What a great class of pitchers. Allison's tall and really good power pitcher. I saw her this recently at the Top Gun Invitational. She can also hit. She hit a home run off one of the top pitchers in the country, but just throws hard, intimidating. What I like about her, shows a lot of motion and passion on the field. You know, one of those that pumps arm when she gets a big strikeout. Yeah, Stevie is a one-type pitcher. Allison, another type. Wow, Coach Lombardi's got some good options up in Oregon in the near future.
And like you, Jordan Ball was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. She's out of Nebraska. She's going to OU. What do you know about this talented pitcher, Jordan Ball?
Well, geez, Oklahoma just keeps, I mean, they can identify talent, let's be honest. I mean, you don't stay at the top for that long unless you can identify good talent and good kids. And Jordan Ball is one of the best. She's athletic. She's an all-around, just a powerful, balanced kind of a player. And I know Brentt's had a lot of real personal interactions with her, and her awards one recently named, but Jordan's one of those athletes that I think Oklahoma is itching to get. They've got a staff already there, the Sooners do, but this is the type of athlete that can go in and really carry a lot of those solid innings and be a staple person in the circle.
It's going to be interesting in Oklahoma because they lose Giselle Juarez. Shannon Sale, as far as I understand, is done. They just got the transfer from North Texas. Her name escapes me, but she pitched a perfect game, struck out everybody. And now you got Jordan come in. And what excites me about Jordan is, you mentioned it, her perspective on life, her faith, her family, her friends. Softball is important to her, but I think she's great in softball because she cares for her teammates. She cares for the balance. She's the perfect kind of kid you want in your locker room and on your bench. But wow, I think she's like Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. You know, it's a no-brainer. You know, first round pick or first overall pick to Jacksonville. This is the one. I mean, when I surveyed hundreds of people, and I'm talking college and club coaches, over 90%, Daron and Amanda said the number one player in this class is this young lady, and just named the Gatorade National Player of the Year, well-deserved. And she also has a 4.0 plus GPA. So like Trevor Lawrence, you're looking for faults. You can't really find any. She's just a great kid that you want to have on your bench and on the field. She's going to get it done. Just outstanding.
She's joining, by the way, North Texas transfer Hope Troutwine.
There you go.
Her name. She had that perfect game that you were talking about.
Right.
What would it mean to you to be named the National Player of the Year?
I think it'd be pretty cool and it'd be a big tribute to my teammates. There are a lot of really good players all over the country, and so it's humbling and it is an incredible honor. I think probably the biggest thing that playing sports has taught me is just that sports is a roller coaster. There's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and when you're down low, you have to be able to just stay up, and when you're things are going really great, you can't let yourself get too high. You just have to stay relaxed and stay level. I know I was just crying earlier, but emotionally you just have to, no matter what life throws at you, you just have to stay yourself.
So there it is. This is the whole thing. Can you see it okay? You got
I
it?
can. I'm excited. Let's do it.
What do you think? What are your thoughts as you look at this whole thing?
My thoughts are that how do you get all these athletes on the field at one time? I want to see them all play a complete game. I want to see all of them, the entire game. It's just not possible. So I'm excited to watch them get the innings that they get, to watch these pitchers. I mean, my goodness. I think just to see the pitchers go against the top hitters, that to me is just, I love the couple of innings of make a statement on your talent and have a good time doing it. I think that's the best part about this All-American game is you see these coaches in the dugout and the athletes, and even though they're the most talented across the country, they're just having the best time. They just finished their PGF runs, and this is their chance to just celebrate and send themselves off in style. I'd love to watch them have a good time, but I want to see them get it done on the field.
They get great swag. The uniforms, everything, bats is top of the top notch, top of the line. But what I think is awesome is this game is televised on ESPN networks, and there have been years where ESPN Sports Center Top 10 had plays from this game, be it a great catch or a great. So I just think it's a first-rate production, first-rate talent, and it's good to be back after 2-year absence. You know, COVID, let's put you in the past. Let's see softball again at this level.
I want to peel back a little secret that we want to briefly talk about, too. You have the secret sheet over here.
Oh.
The Futures All-American game. How cool is that? How cool is that on the very same day, this is brand new, This is sophomore against junior, and I'm looking at a lot of these athletes all over the country as represented. You fired up for this, Eads? What do you got?
Mia Williams, franchise player going to Florida. She's on the sophomore team. Just fantastic. Her dad is Jason Williams, as you know, if you know your basketball, is?
I do. Jason Williams.
White chocolate.
White chocolate, yes.
But Mia is a franchise player, and she is going to go to Florida in the same class. Keegan Rothrock, a franchise pitcher. I had her number one pitcher. So
you just saw Keegan play, right?
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah.
She's gotten better. She's gotten more athletic. She's gotten taller and lean, and she just has a rise ball explodes. But they're outstanding. On the other team, the juniors, you have the number one player, Samantha Rowe, a catcher. And wow, what a coincidence. She's going to Florida. Do you sense a theme here? Tim Walton, before the early recruiting rules stopped, got his hooks into some of these top young players, and they're developing. Sometimes you see in a sport a young player, it kind of peaks early. No, these are across the board. And if you look at this roster, you've got Power Fives up and down. You got Kennedy Powell, a junior going to UCLA. You got Texas, Arizona, Kentucky, Tennessee, and obviously a bunch to Florida. This is going to be exciting because this is the future of the All-American game. These are ones that we're going to see in a year or two, kind of a prelude to the prelude.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I've learned this in other events that are very similar on the baseball side, that if you're in a couple of years prior to the big game, doesn't mean you're guaranteed a reservation at the table the next time. As a matter of fact, it means that there are more talented athletes that'll work even harder to take your seat at the table.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
It makes it very good. So, well, since he did it, why don't you just throw a name or two out there?
Oh my gosh! Well, I need to look through this a little bit more, but just going off though what
extrainningsoftball.com.
what you said about the Power Fives. Mm-hmm. To me, what was so interesting is all the uncommitted athletes, and I know it's because of the early recruiting that was taken away, but what a kid in a candy store the college coaches are going to be coming to this game. I think this is going to be the highlight of the tournament, being able to come out here. And I mean, heads up if you're one of those schools that has one of these athletes on the field, right? Because these coaches are going to be like, oh, they're going to look at. I just think this is just such a fun. This is a fun game. This is the future.
Real quick, what are those coaches going to do again?
Oh, they're going to be like, oh, look at her.
I like that.
Did you say candy?
I'm
not going to go there.
All I heard was candy.
I mean,
I like that.
Yeah,
Hey, can I jump in and help you?
Please, yeah.
Florida State's got a pair of studs. Their top 10 players ranked in the 23 class. Angelique Bueno can hit the snot out of the ball. And down at the bottom, Ashton Danley. I just did a story on her. Last year, she blew out her knee playing basketball, but she's back and better. And she recovered from just everything you can do wrong. She worked so hard, worked her butt off. She came back in 7 months, and she is a fantastic athlete. So we mentioned Florida's got some studs, Florida State. Lonnie's got some players too, but I just Ava Brown, she's fantastic. And let me, if I can just throw stories because I'm a stories guy.
That's why you're here.
Last weekend, Sage Margecko, okay, she plays on a Beverly Bandits team. She goes out and her high school team loses in the 7th inning in a championship game. She's the pitcher. What does she do? She and her parents drive that night, through the night, 5 hours, to go to the Top Gun Invitational to play. That kind of commitment to her teammates and her team, she just lost. Now, she's heartbroken, don't get me wrong, but for her, she's like, you know what, I'm going to replace this taste in my mouth. I'm going to get out there, I'm going to play, and she does it from high school, transitions to club. That's what you love about these kids, is they will go, you know, I always make a joke that football players complain if they have to get on a bus and go across town. These girls will cross state lines to compete and play, and not just in tournaments, but in practices with their club teams.
All right. July 31st, ESPN family of networks, both the Futures All-American game and the All-American game. We kind of slid that secretly. The door's locked. We slid that secretly. The notes, I'm sure we've shown you by now, the list of the players on both rosters. We went down everyone. Congrats, guys. Congrats to all you athletes out there, you coaches, you families, all of you that are listening to this podcast or watching it. Have fun. It's going to be one heck of a summer.